You know, sometimes it feels like we're all just extras in someone else's movie. You dress the part, show up to the events, fake a few smiles, and hope no one notices you have no idea who half the people around you are. Welcome to the life of the Nouveau Riche, where the concrete is fresh, the bank account is newer, and the relationships as fake as a Hollywood set. Now imagine, you're married to a man who's recently discovered money, new money. The type of man who thinks a fake American accent and an overpriced bottle of wine can buy him culture. The type of man who invites you to a party where someone asks you, "How are your adorable children?" And you don't even have kids. Yeah, buckle up. Because Mr. Oliver is not just a story about wealth. It's a sharp, witty, quietly heartbreaking exploration of the chasm between rich and poor, appearances and reality, and all the phoniness in between. We see the story unfold through the eyes of Alex's wife, an observant, somewhat wistful woman married into money, yet increasingly disillusioned by it. Their marriage? Let's just say it's gone slightly sour. Not moldy bread sour. More like left out of the fridge too long sour. You wouldn't throw it out, but you wouldn't serve it at a party either. And parties, mind you, are a big part of this world. Their home is being extended. You know, because money screams for more space. And working on the extension is Mr. Oliver, a mason. Now, Oliver isn't just any bricklayer. He's part of the once wealthy Oliver clan, third generation, but now living in the shadow of a family name that has lost its glow. His eyes are captivating, heavy-hooded eyes that make Alex's wife wonder what happened to him, to men like him, and to their kind. A fallen aristocrat of the brick-and-mortar world. Like most artisans, Oliver knows that Alex's wife has a soft spot. So despite being given all the materials he needs, he comes knocking, asking her for the money equivalent of a bag of cement. Just one. It's not that he needs it, not immediately anyway. It's that he knows she'll give it. And she does. But instead of focusing on whether he's pulling a fast one, she finds herself captivated by his eyes, by what they hide, by what they once saw. And while she's off daydreaming about what she might have done if she'd had eyes like his, oh, the drama, the depth, the mystery she could have wielded. Her husband Alex calls. He's at the airport. He's coming home. And she'd better prepare herself for another party. Later that evening, the couple heads out to a fancy gathering hosted by the new American ambassador. It's one of those parties where everyone pretends to know everyone else, and names are optional as long as you get the titles right. Alex, naturally, is in his element. He goes around introducing his wife to people he clearly doesn't know. You can tell because he stumbles through titles and makes up the rest. And then comes the moment that perfectly captures the absurdity of this life. A high society woman looks at her with a warm, practiced smile and asks,
"How are your adorable children?"
Pause. They don't have any children. But of course, appearances are everything. No one actually knows anything real about anyone else. They just recycle lines, nod graciously, and drink overpriced champagne. As it turns out, the absence of children isn't just some random fact. It's symbolic. When they were first married, Alex, in his quest to be seen as civilized and progressive, insisted they wait before having children. And wait they did. So long, in fact, that by the time he decided he wanted kids, the marriage had lost its spark. She wasn't interested anymore. She wasn't removing the birth control implant. And honestly, can you blame her? The whole evening feels like a salute to Holden Caulfield's infamous rants in The Catcher in the Rye. You remember Holden, teenager, angst-filled, couldn't stand phonies. Well, this party is Holden's worst nightmare. A den of pretentiousness. Everyone's pretending, performing, parading around like life is a photo op. Alex, never one to be left out of the act, puts on his finest false American accent as if that will somehow impress the ambassador or give him an extra stripe of sophistication. And all the while, his wife is thinking of Mr. Oliver, the rough-edged mason with tired eyes, who might be more real than any of the people in this shiny room. On their way home, she brings up the issue of paying Mr. Oliver. Again. Because you see, despite his flaws, the man did do the work. Alex is irritated, obviously. He really doesn't want to think about Oliver. Certainly not after rubbing elbows with diplomats and ministers. He brushes it off, but she insists. Eventually he gives in, and we drive to Oliver's home. Now let me tell you, this is no gated estate. Oliver lives in a rundown neighborhood, a far cry from the world Alex and his wife inhabit. When they arrive, Alex steps out to give him the rest of the payment, but not before deducting the amount his wife had already given the man. And that's when something inside her snaps. She overhears Alex, and without a word, she reaches over, yanks the Hummer's door open, yes, a Hummer, and jumps out. She storms over to Oliver and hands him all the money in her handbag. Because sometimes, dignity costs more than a bag of cement. And because in that moment, she's choosing to see Oliver not as a worker, not as an inconvenience, not as a shadow, but as a man, a human being. Something Alex and his ilk have long forgotten how to do. At its core, Mr. Oliver is a story about power, economic, social, and emotional. It's about the invisible walls that separate the rich from the poor, even when they're physically close. It's about how the rich, even unconsciously, perpetuate poverty, not just through underpayment, but through humiliation, entitlement, and indifference. Alex is the embodiment of this, a man so caught up in appearances and social climbing that he can't see the humanity of the people around him. And speaking of his wife, what a quietly powerful narrator she is. Through her, we see the aching loneliness of privilege, the hollowness of parties, the pain of a marriage where let's wait turns into it's too late. It's quite something, really. There's also the commentary on gender. She's expected to play the gracious hostess, the glamorous wife. But in truth, she's thoughtful, sensitive, and increasingly unwilling to play by the rules of this game. Her decision to pay Oliver, and to jump out of a luxury vehicle to do it, is a tiny rebellion, but one that speaks volumes. And then there's Oliver. We don't hear much from him, but we see him. We feel the quiet desperation behind his request. We recognize the fall from privilege in his heavy-lidded eyes. He's not just a mason. He's a mirror to the world the narrator is trying to escape. Fascinating, isn't it? The story I've just told you is Mr. Oliver by Mamle Kabu, a short story that doesn't shout but whispers its truths loud enough to echo in your head long after you've closed the page. It reminded me how economic systems dehumanize, how relationships are shaped by class, and how sometimes the smallest gestures, like handing over the contents of your handbag, are the ones that carry the most weight. It's satirical, yes, but it's also melancholic. There's a sadness beneath the surface. The sadness of realizing that money doesn't buy love, that status doesn't equal respect, and that humanity is so often the first casualty in the pursuit of wealth. The story belongs in the same shelf as The Catcher in the Rye, not in tone, but in theme. The phoniness, the disillusionment, the desperate search for something real. Holden would have had a field day at that ambassador's party. Mamle Kabu is a Ghanaian writer who was shortlisted for the Caine Prize in 2009 for her story, The End of Skill. She grew up between Ghana and the UK, studied at Cambridge University, and has had several short stories published. She currently lives and works in Ghana and is a mother of 2. Her ability to blend satire, emotion, and sharp social commentary into just a few pages is impressive. And Mr. Oliver is a testament to that skill. So if you're looking for a short story that will make you laugh, think, cringe, and maybe want to hand your handbag to a deserving stranger, this one's for you. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more deep dives into African literature. And tell me, have you ever met an Alex or an Oliver? Drop a comment below. Hey, thanks so much for hanging out with me today. If you're interested in diving deeper into this book, I've left some links down in the description. You can use it to grab yourself a copy and keep the adventure going. And if you're in the mood for more great reads, don't go just yet. Click on one of the videos popping up right now that I think you'll love. And don't forget to give this review a like, leave a comment, or even subscribe if you'd like to see more. Every bit of support helps us grow this little community of book lovers. See you in the next one.